Hello, lovelies. Good day and welcome back to my channel. My name is Oluwatosin. In case you're hearing my voice for the first time, if you are new here, you're welcome. Please consider subscribing, and to all my returning subscribers, you're also welcome. Thank you so much for always coming back to watch my videos. So, I came across this cute Ankara ball dress on the right, and then I decided to replicate it for my cute little client. And I just thought to document the process of making this dress in case someone might be interested in learning how to make a dress like this. So if this sounds like what you're interested in, come along with me. Let's cut and sew this dress together from start to finish.
For this project, we are going to be using these beautiful African prints tools. We'll also be needing bias
Then this strong mesh, this mesh is like the strongest I know, and it does the magic. It is different from the soft one.
and then lining. And the basic measurements required to achieve a cute dress like this is the full length, the bust, the waist, the half length, the shoulder, and that is it basically. So moving ahead with the knowledge of that, this baby girl's bust is 23, so I'll proceed to measuring 23. Then I'll be adding 10 inches allowance. 10 inches includes allowance for cutting, for turning, because it's going to be fully lined, for turning, for sewing, for everything. So let me bring that out and come back to show you guys what's next. When I was done cutting it out, I arranged it, leaving the zipper allowance at the back. So our half length is 11, then I added 2 inches allowance to the length. Please be mindful of your fabric. If it has pattern that is up and down, do not forget to put that into consideration. In my case, this fabric has up and down because of this particular rules that is there. So this is my up and this is my down. The next thing I'll be doing is I'm going to be measuring a shoulder. A shoulder is 11 divided by 2 gives me 5.5. Because this dress has sleeve, I'm going to be adding half-inch allowance, but if this dress does not have sleeve, I'm going to be leaving it at that. The next to mark out is an armhole. This person's armhole is 12 divided by 2 is supposed to give me 6, but at this point I'm just going to be using 5, and I'll proceed to drawing a armhole cuff. The next I will do is to measure a bust plus allowance, then our waist is 24 plus allowance, and basically that's it. I'm going to be connecting 2 points together, then I'll proceed to cutting that out. The next to do is to mark out a neckline. It is a round neck for front and back, and they are both high neck. So I'm going to be marking 3 inches by 2.5 at the front and then 2 at the back, and they are both round neck. So I will just proceed to marking that. I'll be cutting front and back together at first, then I'll proceed to cutting out the front. The next to do is to slant my shoulder with like half-inch towards the neckline. Basically, this is it for the half length. I'm just putting this mark there so that I can easily differentiate the wrong side of the fabric to the right side of the fabric. So moving to the lower part of the dress, that is the flay or the gathers part of the dress now. So what I will do in that case is I'm going to consider where the gathers is entering. In this case is our waist, and our waist is 24, and I want these gathers very full, so I'm going to be doing times 4 of our waistline, which is 24 times 4 now. So I'll proceed to measuring that out. 24 times 4, and then the length is going to be the full length minus the half length. The length is going to be the full length minus the half length. So this person's short dress length is 27 minus 12 inches half length. So this is going to be 15 inches long. Then I'll be adding 2 inches allowance for folding it down and half, and the one I'll use to join it to the half length that we just cut. So I'm going to be cutting 17 inches long by 24 times 4 inches wide. This is the part that I'm going to gather, and then this is the half length. So for the belt, I proceeded to cutting 2 pieces that the length measures. This is 27 by 7 because I want it very wide. So I'm just going to turn that into belt now. by simply doing this, and I'll reduce from here. The next thing is to cut lining. I'm going to be cutting that off camera, but just know that it's just to place this on lining and cut the exact thing out. Then for this one, the lining is just going to be like 5 or 6 inches short. Then I'm going to be doing times 3 of the waistline, not times 4 like I did in this case. So right here is the lining for the gathers, and I also cut lining for the half length. So this is the belt. The next thing to do is I just want to put like kind of design at the back. I'll be opening it up, then I'll be using, I'm going to be sewing this red and this yellow bias inside in 2 different places. So the first one is going to stay here, and then the second one is going to stay right here. So I just want this bias to like stick out here. Then the yellow one is going to stick out here. Or I put yellow before red, either ways. But that is it, so that this does not mix up, or so I don't get confused. I'm going to pin it down. This is one of the reasons I added 2 inches to the half length when I was cutting it out, because I knew it was going to jump up a little bit when I'm done doing this. So here you go. So before I cut out the pleats on the chest and the tool that serves as the sleeve, I want to start joining first. I want to start sewing. So I'm going to do this first.
So after attaching the bias to it, this is what I have. I did the red before the yellow, and then when I do for the both sides for the back, that is what I have. The next thing to do is to turn, so I'll proceed to turning the neckline, the armhole, the 2 sides. It is only the down I will not turn, and please make sure your lining is facing the right side before you turn. So I proceeded to turning the neckline with hemming gum for the front and for the back, and then I flipped the front over and pressed it, but I didn't flip the back over because I'm still going to use the shoulder line to turn the shoulder line for the front, so I didn't flip it over. The next is to start doing the little pleats or drape at the front with this tool. So just fold the first layer like 2 3 times, and then you pin it down, and then you start pleating. When I was done doing that, this is what I have. Then for the other side, just split in opposite direction, the same way we did the first one, but in opposite direction. As you are pleating, just be pinning it down, and when you are done pinning down, take that to your sewing machine and secure your pleat down with a straight stitch. So the next is to turn the shoulder line, put the back panel on the front panel. We are going to make sure that the right side is facing the right side, and armhole has to be on armhole. Please don't face neckline to armhole. Do not get confused. So just put it inside the way I'm doing, and then you stitch it down the shoulder line. Repeat the same thing to the other side of the back panel, and basically that's it. So when I was done doing that, this is what I have. The next to do is to start shaping, and to shape you are going to pin down your belt on both sides, then you flip the back over, then you start shaping. Please make sure that the zip allowance is staying up the way it's staying up here. You can even pin it down before you shape. So you're going to divide the bust by 4, then you mark that the waistline divided by 4, then you mark that, then you make sure that the armhole is the exact armhole before you proceed to shaping. Then to the other side, divide your bust by 2 now, then your waist by 2, and still confirm the armhole before you proceed to shaping. So after shaping, the next thing is to start attaching the gathers. That's the lower part of the dress. To do that, you are going to measure what you have from the zip allowance to the middle. Just fold it into two and measure the way I'm doing. And whatever you measure, you are going to multiply that by two. You know it's a fold of two. So you are going to gather the piece you are using for the gathers to that number, and then you gather the lining as well to that number. For this strong mesh, I proceeded to piping the up and the down so that it doesn't fray or start pricking whoever is going to wear it. So after gathering the lower piece, you are going to put a notch at the middle of the half length, then you put a notch at the middle of the gathers as well, then you sew the gather down on the half length from one side to the other, just as I'm doing in the video. It is that simple, guys. Hope you guys are getting what I'm doing. So when I was done attaching the pleats, this is what I have, or attaching the gathers, this is what I have. The next is to attach the strong net, still in the same direction you attach the Ankara. Sew from one side to the other and pleat as much as you can. After that, the next is to attach our lining. We are going to use the lining to cover all this joining. So you are fixing the lining on the opposite direction and then you flip it over. So to the opposite direction, that's the half length direction now. Sew the lining down and then when you flip over, this is what you have. Every joining and stitch is going to be concealed. After this, we have to turn the zipper allowance, and to turn the zip allowance, just place them on each other the way I did. Please make sure that the two half lengths are directly facing each other. One should not be up and the other one down, so that your zip will stay perfect the way it's supposed to stay. So flip up your lining, then you pick your Ankara and your strong mesh, then you determine where you want your zip to start from, and from that point you are going to sew it straight down. After then, we are going to turn the zip allowance one at a time. So you are going to flip back the lining for each side. Please make sure the other side doesn't get in your way. So you are going to use one side, you face it to the right side of the zip allowance, and then you turn it, you sew it straight down. Make sure the other side does not get in your way, like I said. Then you are going to repeat the same thing to the other side. When you are done with one side, this is what it's supposed to look like. Every joining and stitch is concealed and everywhere is looking neat as much as possible. So you are going to repeat the same thing to the other side. Just flip the lining to the right side to cover the right side, and then you sew it down. So when you are done with the other side as well, this is what it's supposed to look like. The next thing to do is to fix your zip. So just proceed to fixing your zip. When you are fixing your zip, if you've put bias at the back of your dress, just like I did, please make sure that the two bias, they are on the same line as well. Then you fold it down of your dress. So moving to the sleeve now, it's going to be 5 inches long, and then I'll cut four for each sleeve. And then I'm going to be joining it together to make it voluminous, like I want it more puffy. So I cut four for each, I joined it together, and after joining I gathered it, and this is what I have. The next to do is to attach this to my dress. So I'm going to be pinning it up on the shoulder line as well as on the armhole, and I'm still going to further gather it in the armhole. And when I was done, this is the dress. This dress is so cute and adorable. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask me in the comment section. Please give this video a thumbs up. Share my video as much as you can amongst your soulmates. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video.